What's up, guys? BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Eternal Evolution, and today I want to talk about the heroes in this first banner, the first half of the Eternal Evolution Evangelion collab event, because, well, there is this banner you have to worry about summoning on, and it is a split banner, which means you're not guaranteed to get either one of them. There's, of course, the new Hunter hero, Mari, and then there's also the new Energy hero, Shinji. We're going to be talking about our experiences with both of them. I've been using them on some other accounts as well. Overall, though, I'm kind of disappointed in this event that there is no shop and there's no collab chips like the last one. You know how you get all these exchange things for the normal banners? Well, we didn't have one in this one. And the fact that, well, I mean, the wish list on this one's actually kind of nice, having Corellios in it, because he is one of the really good energy heroes in the game right now. I still kind of think he's better than Shinji, but again, it really comes down to what you need on your account. I will say this, going into this event, at least to like the 80.8 summon mark is kind of good, because that's going to give you 60 of these Daniel Soul Crystal Nucleus shards, which is a full awakening tier on your Daniel. If you have Daniel and he's one of your most powerful summoners, this is just going to make your account overall better. Daniel's one of those summoners that you only need him to make your team better, whereas a lot of the other ones you need a pairing of different summoner heroes to really get a bang for your buck on those. So just be aware of that. I wanted to make sure that was kind of clear right out of the gate. Of course, the other one is you will be able to get Asuka eventually, as long as you're participating in this event throughout the end of this event, because of course, every time the leaderboard resets, even if you're at the very bottom down here, I mean, you're still getting 35 of these every single time, which is 105 extra between all the missions, all that stuff. You should end up with like 400-ish something. So just keep in mind, you will be able to get her for free if you are not a spender. You're just not going to get her for quite a while. So let's talk about the heroes, because number one, I don't really necessarily think you need to go for any of these heroes. I will say though, in my personal opinion, Asuka is a very good assassin. Like I said, I think she's a top 3 assassin. I think overall she's just behind Caraxi and Dominic. She has some advantages and disadvantages when we're talking about overall assassins. So let's kind of break it down one by one. First off, we have Motoko from the last collab with Ghost in the Shell. She's very similar power level to her. However, the one downside of Motoko is she can die very easily for an assassin hero. She doesn't have revives. She doesn't really have immunity. She is very squishy, so that is one big downside. However, Samel is another potential top 3 assassin hero. He has less damage potential, however, he does have that reviving survivability. The more he revives, the more damage and survivability he has, so kind of a unique ability. Rickert, of course, has completely fallen off for a lot of people who have a lot of assassins. If you're still a team that doesn't have a lot of assassins, very strong hero still. And of course, you have some random ones like Helen, who is godly in Hell Arena, but absolutely garbage everywhere else, and then Bailey Hudson, who has completely fallen off. I do think Asuka will be very strong. I am holding out taking her to Immortal 5 for one reason and one reason only. I want to see what the upcoming Tank and Vanguard heroes look like from this collab. But overall, she's the only one that I personally feel like building right now is worthwhile for my account. So if we go just back to this here, we next move over to Shinji. So let's go to Shinji, who is an energy hero. Shinji very much has a similar power level, however slightly below that in my opinion, to both Corellios and Jaina, whereas Jaina has a really amazing synergy on a lot of the different game modes that have tons of little minions. She just goes crazy with ultimate after ultimate after ultimate. Corellios has a little bit more tank ability and has a nice pushback ability, good AoE damage, and is a very strong one. And then of course the only other one to talk about in this situation well is Nord. Nord is just like insanely good in the early game for free-to-play players. He's absolutely amazing. If you get one copy of him and power him up, he will solo a lot of the game for you, which is why I really like him. The more and more I use Corellios, he feels almost as strong as Nord in similar situations. Nord just has that lifesteal ability when he uses the Marauder set and a couple other things. But I will say Shinji is a solid fourth energy hero, which in my opinion means he's not really necessary to build, especially if you're trying to focus on other heroes right now. I do think on average players are going to have a better experience with the current top 3 energy heroes than they will with Shinji. So that's number 2 on the list. The last one is one that's interesting. If we go over to the hunter heroes, there's a lot of hunters in the game right now. Let's be honest. There's a ton of them. And one thing Mari does is I don't think she provides enough to really fit in a lot of teams. A lot of other hunters help support other hunters on your team. Now, granted, the pulse reactor is one whenever there are Evangelion heroes on your side of the battlefield, reduces damage taken. So this is a weird one because like it doesn't really help your other heroes necessarily. Most of her stuff are just damaging or integrations. Granted, her disintegrator common skill, the skill pushes the target back 3 meters. That's the go-to of how hunters survive, so that is a nice synergy right there. But a lot of her stuff is just purely damage oriented, and again, I don't feel like she really synergizes with many other hunters. And when it comes to hunter teams, you go heavy in on the hunters in order to make it work. Granted, of course, attack speed, just like every other hunter, is very, very important. I just don't think she's that useful of a hero, even if she can be good. I would say currently Rebecca is probably still one of the best hunters in the game, if you're not counting, of course, the SP hero, who is just absolutely amazing. Artemis is godly. Rebecca is very, very strong. After that, Rebecca-wise, I'd probably say Arcadia is the next useful one on the list. And then I'd say she's probably at the same tier as Raceris. She's going to do more damage than Raceris. However, Raceris has a really nice ability that while she's on the battlefield, all allied heroes' basic attacks can trigger special effect, dealing additional true damage. And beyond that, while she's on the battlefield, all allies receive 100 IAS boost, which is just absolutely amazing. And of course, exclusive at Phantom Speed, Hunter get double the effect. So yeah, it's a really, really strong ability to give your overall team more attack speed, which is kind of why I still use Raceris to this day. If you do EX30 her as well, she has a revive, which synergizes very much with Arcadia. Arcadia gets more revives based on how many hunters die, and if she dies and revives, that means more revives for her too. So I don't really feel like she, again, fits into the current meta of heroes, but she could be a good addition. But that's kind of why I'm saying I would hold off, if I were you guys, deciding if you're going to build any of these 3 heroes until we at least get the skill preview early mid next week for the newest 2 heroes that are going to be coming, because again, there's 2 more coming. There's a tank and a Vanguard. Historically, Vanguards haven't been super important on your accounts, and then tank heroes, we'll just have to see how they turn out. The last tank was okay. The last Vanguard was good damage wise during Vanguard battles. Outside of Vanguard battles, he kind of seems lacking. So that's my input. Hopefully you guys get some good information out of this. Again, I still think Asuka is probably the best one out of the 3 so far. We'll have to see what the other 2 do. Make sure you guys take 1 second, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet, and I'll see you guys next time.